256, final pay-per-view.
Yes.
The return of Figgy, can't you see? Deiveson Figueiredo, the face of the flyweights. DC, let me
Yes.
ask you this.
Yes.
Which fight are you most looking forward to? Deiveson Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno, right?
Sorry, bro. Sorry.
The sushi chef / hairstylist, I don't know if you know this, going up against the piñata maker. I mean, if they don't sell this fight this way on Saturday, I'll be thoroughly disappointed. You could use that info, by the way, on the broadcast. You won't shout me out like Marvin, but it's okay. Or the return of El Kukui going up against DuBronx, Tony Ferguson versus Charles Oliveira. Which one are you more looking forward
I
to?
love the title fight. I think it's very fun. It's very good that we have a flyweight champion that people can tune into, a guy that finishes fights, and he has a real tough challenger in front of him, a guy that fought on the same night as he did and looked just as impressive.
21 days. 21 days
Hey,
ago.
3 weeks.
Yes.
Fantastic that they both look so good such a very short time ago. But I'm coming. I'm showing up Saturday. I got to see Du Bronx and Tony. I mean, I love that fight. That is the fight because it's a chance to have not only just insanity in the middle of the octagon, but also a chance to answer a bunch of questions.
Mm.
There's a bunch of questions that will get answered on Saturday night. One, is Tony Ferguson still the same guy after the beating Justin Gaethje put on him? Two, does Charles Oliveira, the guy today, is he more willing to go through the muck, through the dirt in order to beat one of those big names? Because he's got some big wins, right? And I believe that the Kevin Lee fight, that was one of those situations where he may have faltered before. He got through that and he got through that impressively. Can he beat Tony Ferguson in that way too? Because we saw back in the day when he was younger, before this win streak, he would lose fights against guys that we thought he could win based on making mistakes and letting the moment get too big for him. This is a big spot for him. Does Du Bronx really cement himself as one of the best lightweights in the world on Saturday? I think this is fantastic fight. Fantastic matchmaking.
Love it. Love everything you said. Am I correct in saying this is a crossroads fight for Tony
Tony.
Ferguson? This
Oh
is a
yeah.
crossroads fight for Tony Ferguson. If you lose this fight, considering the fact that 155 is so stacked and there's all these guys just chomping at the bit to get their title fight, right? To get their shot at the belt. You lose your second fight in a row, you fall down, right? You fall down
Oh,
that
bad.
ladder, right?
Well, it's
If you
bad, right?
win, you're in the mix. But if you lose, that's why I feel like we're at a crossroads here.
For both, again, like I said, for all the reasons of Charles Oliveira, he's a bit at a crossroads too, right? But not like Tony.
No.
It's all or nothing right now.
All
For
the pressure's
Ferguson.
on Tony here,
Yeah,
right?
it is because Tony Ferguson has proven twice that he has been the best of the rest. Right? He's done that on 2 occasions where he's become the interim champion. Right? Beat Kevin Lee, and then he beat who did he beat for the second interim title? The second time he became interim champ.
Well, he can't.
Or did he do it once?
He only did it once. He beat Donald Cerrone.
Okay, but he was the interim champion. Oh,
He
and
only
then
fought for the interim belt once.
he fought Justin for the interim championship
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
lost.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So he has shown that he's been the best of the rest on a couple of occasions, right? 12-fight win streak,
Yep.
scheduled to fight Habib so many times. So if you look at his past, you see that with everyone else, he seems to be in the mix. But you can't be in the mix if you lose to Charles Oliveira, because now you start fighting more and more of the young guys that are trying to break their way in to the top tier of your weight class. It's all or nothing for Tony this weekend. There's going to be a ton of pressure, but you think Tony Ferguson ever thinks about pressure? He's just going to go in there and fight in the way that he does normally.
He's taking this fight on relatively short notice. I suspect that he's in great shape, but yeah, I mean, you're right. It's the people's main event. It's a great fight. I will actually vote for Deiveson Figueiredo because I just love the story of this guy who started off, the year missing weight, and people didn't really think that he would be the savior, right? Because, I saw what Cejudo said, but let's be honest. Cejudo beats Dillashaw. He doesn't return to the flyweights. If Deiveson Figueiredo does not emerge, there's a very good chance that there are no flyweights.
I
Very good
disagree.
chance.
I
Yes,
disagree.
very good
I
chance.
disagree.
If there's no Figueiredo, who's the
I
guy?
just think but I know. I disagree. I think when Henry beat TJ Dillashaw and TJ came down from 35, no one knew he wasn't going back down. And everybody just figured, well, if the 25 pounder can beat the 35 pounder, and it's not hypothetical because we just saw it, maybe these guys are valuable and we should keep them. And I think they were going to stay regardless. I know, hey, having Figgy helps because he does seem to make you want to pay attention. but I don't think the flyweights were going anywhere.
He's a fighting champion. He's got a flair. He's got a look. He finishes.
Oh, he was perfect. He was
Cejudo
perfect.
threw them a life preserver.
Yeah, and somebody took it.
But Deiveson Figueiredo saved the flyweights.
Dude, he took it. He took the lifeline that he took the lifeline that Henry gave him. If I'm being honest, Henry Cejudo saved the flyweights. If anyone saved them, it was Henry Cejudo. And honestly, Henry Cejudo saved the flyweights on it became stale when DJ was just throwing people up in the air and armbarring them. Like he just seemed so far out ahead of everybody.
How dare you?
Hey, it's the same thing with featherweight, right? Because Amanda Nunes is so dominant. Everybody's like, well, is there ever going to be a division? Until someone comes along and challenges Amanda at 145, those same questions will be the same. So you got to have viable contenders, and Henry gave him an opportunity to stay around.
Well, there's a lot to like on this card.
But Deiveson Figueiredo's the man. Let's not go crazy.
Thank you. And so is Brandon Moreno. I'm looking forward to his first title fight.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot to like. Renato Moicano against Rafael Fiziev. Great fight. Jacare Souza against Kevin Holland. I love the Cyril Gane versus Junior Dos Santos fight. Yep. The return of Cub Swanson, Mackenzie Dern, Gavin Tucker. Unfortunately, we lost Angela Hill, and we lost Carl Roberson as well, Li Jiangliang. So hopefully no more COVID cancellations. But as of right now, this card is a fun one on paper.
It's a great fight. But the JDS Cyril Gane fight, right?
Yeah.
This is where Tony Ferguson is. And I know he won't, it doesn't take as much at heavyweight to put yourself back in the conversation, but he'll find himself in JDS's shoes if he doesn't get past Do Bronx this weekend. Because now JDS fights all the up-and-comers. JDS fought Jorginho, and now he's fighting Cyril Gane, right? So you got to be very careful as a guy that's been around for a while when you start taking on these young guys. All the pressure's on Tony.